element. These were the two elements which we have explored, and still there are few more things that we have to learn related to table element, right? So we have seen what are the tags that table element is providing to us, and what are the different attributes that we can configure for our table element. So I hope you remember the attributes. Yesterday, we have listed out all the attributes, right? What we can configure for the table element. And if you observe, we have just seen frame attribute. And for this frame attribute, I have just explained only one value, right? I have just explained only one value, that is box. And I just told you guys to find the another set of values that we can configure for the frame attribute. Apart from that, we have seen the rules attribute. We have seen width. We have seen height. We have seen v-align, align. Okay, these are the attributes what we have seen in the last session. So some of like we have to explore some more attributes like colspan, row span. We have cell padding and cell spacing. These are some of the attributes what we have to explore in today's session. Okay. Yeah. So anybody found the answers for that frame attribute? Do you guys know any other values that we can configure for the frame attribute apart from box? Yes. Nice. So I got all the answers. Yeah. So if you come back here, this is the table which we have created in the last session, right? Okay, this is the table what we have created in the last session. So I'm just copying the same code. Okay, here I will create one more file, something like table frame.html. I will paste same code. Okay, and here I will just remove few attributes. Like I will remove this align and v-align. I want to remove this width and height. Okay, if I save my file and if I open this document in my browser, it looks something like this. I just want to remove this table footer also. I don't want this table foot. So if I go back here, now here I have just ID, name, city. Okay. Now if I go back here and if I remove this rules also, it looks something like this now. It looks something like this. Now, if you see here, we got outside our table, we got one frame kind of thing, right? Now that is because of that frame attribute. And to that, we have configured the value box. Apart from box, we have some more value. Values like we have something called above. Okay, if I configure above value to this frame attribute, you will get that frame only on the top side. So if you go back here, see, you got that line only on the top. There is no line on the left and on the bottom. Only top. So if you want like this only line on the top, then you have to configure frame value as above. Apart from above, we have something called below also. If you give below, now see here you will get the line at the below. So box means you will get from all the sides. If you give below, it will be below. If you want on both the side, anyone knows? I want the values on both the side, means I want on above also and below also. Is my voice audible, guys? Is there any issue with my voice? Yeah, actually it's raining, too much raining at my end. So basically, I'm in Delhi, and you know the situation of Delhi these days. Yeah. Okay. Here we have to give the value called h sites. Now save it. Now if you come back here, now see, or you got on both the side. Okay. In the same way, suppose you want only on left side, then LHS. The value is LHS. You got only on the left side. If you want on the right side, the value is RHS. If you want left and right, then we have the value called V sides. Now see, we got on the right also, on the left also. If you want from all the sides, then you have the value box. Okay. Or else we can give something called border also. It is a value called border also. The border or box, if you add, it will get from all the sides. Okay. So these are the different values for frame. Box, above, below, RHS, LHS, V sides, H sides, and we have border. And apart from that, we have one more value, that is void. Void means you will not have any kind of frame. I can add here something like void. Void means no frame. You won't get any kind of frame. Okay. So now, as of now, I am adding. If I want, I can give the caption for my table. There is one tag called caption. We can give some caption to our table. So I can say information. Some caption we can give to our table. So if you want to give any caption to your table, then you have a caption tag. Now here you got the caption for your table. That is user's information. So this is the tag which I have not discussed. So just now I am discussing, that is caption tag. Using caption tag, we can give the caption to our table. Yeah, border and box are same. Border and box are same. Both will give the frame from all the sides. Okay. Now there is one attribute called border also. There is one more attribute called border. I think I have not listed out that border attribute. There is one attribute called border. Okay. Now let's see how this border attribute is going to work. Now, if you see here, I'm just removing this frame and rules. I'm adding here border attribute and just adding some value like 1. Adding some value like 1. Now, if I save it, if I go back to my table, now see, I got the border. Now, how I got the border? For all my columns, it created like a cell. Box 1, box 2, box 3, box 4, box 5, box 6. Now, all these boxes are called like a cells. These are like a cells. So what it did, border. This is our table, right? In this table, we are creating number of rows. And we are creating some number of columns. Now, what your border attribute is doing, it is just adding the border for each and every cell. Cell means this part. Cell means this part. This is one cell. This is like one cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. It is adding the border for every cell. Apart from cells, it is adding the border at the end also, like this. Like this one border it is adding. And the thickness of this border is 1 pixel. Thickness of the border is 1 pixel. Now, if you observe here, now see, for every cell you got border. Apart from that, at the end also we got one border for our table. And the thickness of this border is 1 pixel. If you want, you can increase that thickness. For example, if I give the value here 10, now the border thickness will increase. If I go back here, now see, border thickness is increasing. Basically, width of your border will be increased. Width of your border will be increased. I can give here something like 20 also. If I give 20, it will be something like this. Okay, so border is one more attribute which you can add for your table element. If you are adding border, no need to add your rules and frame. If you use rules and frame, then no need to add border. Now here I am just making it 2. Save it, go back here. Now we got something like this. Now see, there is a space between the cells. Are you able to find some space between the cells? This is one cell, and between the another cell, we have some space. If you want, you can increase that space. You can increase the space between the cells. To increase the space between the cells, we have to add one more attribute, that is cell spacing. And we have to give some value. Suppose I'm giving here 10 pixels. Now see, space between the cells has been increased. Now if I go back here, I can make it something like 30. If I make 30, it will be something like this. So space between the cells you can increase using the attribute called cell spacing. Cell spacing. There is one more attribute called cell padding. Cell padding will generate the space between the content and this border. Between the content and border, it will generate this space. Cell padding. Suppose here I am adding cell padding equals to 10 pixel. If I save it, if I go back, now see, the space between the border and content is increased. This space. Now if I go back here, if I increase the value to 20, now see, the space between the content and that border has been increased. So this space between the content and this cell border, if you want to generate the space between them, go for cell padding. If you want to generate space between two cells, then go for cell spacing. Go for cell spacing. Okay, these are the different attributes that we can configure. Understood the difference between cell spacing and cell padding? Because in your interviews, they will ask, what is the difference between cell spacing and cell padding? Cell spacing and cell padding. Is it clear for everyone? Yeah. So all the notes, all the definitions, proper definition related to all the attributes and the tags, I will provide in the form of PDFs. Okay. So in paint file, I am not writing the definition. It will just waste our time. So the definition related to cell spacing, cell padding, right? All your tags, attributes, I will add inside the PDF. And you guys will able to access all those PDFs from the GitHub link. Okay, GitHub link. So I am just updating all the paint files, all the PDFs, and all the our programs, whatever code we are writing, everything on that GitHub repository. I hope everybody has that GitHub repository. Okay, I'm just pasting on the chat. The people who don't have, just click on that link and save that link. Okay, save this link, whatever I have pasted on the chat. Okay, so daily notes and paint files and PDFs, everything you will find on that repository. Session wise, I'm just updating everything. Paint file is like a rough notes for us. Okay, yeah. Now this is about, we have to learn one more, that is call span and row span. So let's suppose I want to create like this table. I want one table. I want here something like 3 rows. And in first row, I want exactly 3 columns. 3 columns. In second row, I want 4 columns. Column 1, column 2, and column 3 and 4. Okay, here something like this. Here I want something like ID. Maybe here something like name. And here something like address. Here I will just add the data like some 101. Maybe here some name like Rajat, task. Address, maybe I will add city, something like Hyderabad, and state like Telangana. 102. Here something like Rahul Verma. Okay. Maybe city like Pune, state is like Maharashtra. So I want to create something like this table. In first row, 3 columns. In second and third row, 4 columns. Okay, how can we create this kind of table? Let's see. So here I will go and just create a file with something called colspan.html. Okay, I will just copy this code. As it is, I will copy this code. Or I will copy this code. And I will paste here. Okay, now I just want to remove all this. Frame I will add something like box, and rules I will add something like all. And maybe I will try to add some width, or let it be. Okay, here it should be address. And we should have one more TD here. Maybe something like MH. Here I will add one more TD. Something like here TS. Here Hyderabad. I will just copy this. I will add here. I will add here. Now what I did, simply I have created one row, first row in the T head, and in that I have only 3 columns. And from second row, I have 4 columns, 4 columns, 4 columns. So if I open this document in my browser, it looks something like this. It looks something like this. Okay, in first row, we should have only 3 columns, but it is creating like 4 column. It is creating that 4th column also. But I don't want like this 4th column. I want my 3rd column and 4th column should get merged, and it should create like 1 column. this column and this column, I want to merge. If you want to merge your columns, then we can take the help of something called colspan. Colspan is used to merge your columns in a specific row. So I want to merge my columns in the first row. In the first row, which columns you want to merge? Third and fourth. So what we will do, we will go to that third column. This is our third column, th. To this th, simply we will add colspan. And how many you want to merge? You want to merge 2 columns. So just add number 2. If you save it, if you go back here, now see, both got merged. Both got merged. So if you want to merge your columns, then you have to use colspan. Suppose if I want to create like this, I want table, in that I want 2 rows or 3 rows. In first row, I want only 2 columns. From second row, I want 4 columns. I want 4 columns. So maybe something like this here. I want here ID, here something like name and address. Something like this I want. It means in first row, I want just 2 columns. So what I need to do? I just need to remove this third column, th. And here I need to say name and address. Now if I save it, it looks something like this. I want to merge this one. So simply here what we will do? Colspan, we will say 2. If I say 2, it is like this. Here you got one more. We want to merge this one also. So just say 3. Now see, ID, name and address. Okay, I want this row 103. 103 also I want only 2 columns. In 103 also I want only 2 columns. So I will go to that 103. Here also I will add colspan equals to 3. Now see, here also I got it. In first row, 2 columns. In fourth row also 2 columns. Row also 2 columns. In last row, I want to yeah. Is my voice audible, guys? Yeah. Okay. Now in the last, I want to merge second and third column. So how to merge second and third column? So simply in the second column, we will add colspan as a 2. So it will just merge 2 second and third column, and you will have here your fourth column. Got it? Did you understood how to merge your columns? Okay, we are able to merge our columns. Yeah. Now we know table concept, right? We know table concept. There is one more attribute that is pending, that is row span. So can you guys explore by yourself row span? Can you guys try by yourself row span? I have explained you call span. You try row span by yourself. Let's see how many of you can learn row span by your own. I have explained call span. You try to learn row span by your own. Very similar concept, very similar concept. If you understood call span, understanding row span will be like your left hand left job. It will just take 5 minutes for you, maybe less than 5 minutes to understand row span. Okay, so row span, I'm just giving you guys as an assignment. So if you're not able to understand, just let me know in tomorrow's session. Sir, I tried, but I'm not able to understand exactly how it is working. Okay, so first you give try. Let's see how many of you will understand. I think 100% people will understand it. But in case if you're not understanding, about in HTML, what are the different elements we are aware about? We know heading element, we know paragraph element, we know image element, we know list element. In list also we know ordered, unordered, right? Definition list. We know table element. These are the elements which we are aware in HTML now. Now, if I show you certain output, if I show you certain web page, and if I ask you by seeing that web page, can you design or not? What will be your answer? Let me know. Okay. So I'm just showing you something. By seeing that output, you guys have to let me know whether you can design something like that or not. Okay, this part. Okay, from here to here. From here to here. By seeing this, can you guys tell me, can you guys design this part? Okay, how to get this line? How to get this line? To get this line, you have to simply use HR tag. You have to simply use HR tag. Again, HR is a self-closing tag. It is like a self-closing tag. If you use this tag, you will get that line. You will get like this line. Now, you know, to show the content like this, which tag you need to use. To show the content like this, which tag you need to use. To show the content like this, which tag you need to use. To show this line, we know which tag we need to use. We know how to show unordered list. We know how to show ordered list. So I think this part you guys can develop by your own without taking the help of anyone. Only this part from here to here. Okay. Now I will open one more thing. How many of you visited Amazon.in? Can you develop this part? This part from here to here. Can you develop this part? Yeah, to develop this part, can you guys guess? what are the different elements we have to use to develop this part? Just guess. I'm not saying exactly 100% I want like this. At least 80% you should be able to develop. At least 80% similar to this one. I'm not asking 100%. I'm asking at least 80%. So can you guys, by seeing this output, just take 2 minutes of your time and let me know what are the different elements we require to design this part. Yes. So now this will be like one more assignment for you. Okay. Before I explain, I will explain this how to develop. But before I explain, I just want you to try by yourselves. Assignment 2. Okay. Just go to the Amazon.in. You just open Amazon.in and you can develop any part. Like this you can develop, or like this you can develop. How to get these images? How to get these images? Just right click. You will get the option copy image address. If you just copy image address, you will get this image. If I paste that link here, I will get that image here. And you know how to copy this content, right? You can just copy this content. You can copy this content. So first you guys try. If not, in tomorrow's session, I will develop this part. I will develop this part. Okay, if you are able to develop this part, then I want you guys to develop this part also. I want you to develop this entire part. So from here to here. First you try this part, then you try this part. Means you have to develop this entire row. Just give a try. If not, anyways, in tomorrow's session, I will explain this part. So if you give try, and if you are not able to get success, then when you will see tomorrow's session, how I am developing it, then you will understand exactly where you are lagging. Suppose if you are able to develop by your own without seeing tomorrow's session, then that is great. It means you are able to achieve something within this next whatever we have learned till now. Within this 6th session, whatever we have learned, you are able to achieve something. Okay, this is like your assignment 3. Okay, so my technique is, first I will give you guys chance to develop, then I will develop the same thing so that you guys can understand. Basically, if you are facing any issues while developing, then how to rectify those issues, why you are facing that issues, everything you guys can analyze by yourselves. Okay, no need to submit any assignment, guys. This is just for your practice purpose. You guys just try it. Okay, you just try it and let's see how many of you are able to do in tomorrow's session. Yeah, now we will explore one more element, that is anchor element. Now anybody knows what is anchor element? What is anchor element? Yes, using anchor element, we can create links. Using anchor element, we can create links. Okay, using anchor element, we can connect two different HTML documents. Okay, two HTML documents or web pages. or web pages. Or we can say we can navigate from one web page to another web page. Apart from this, we can navigate from one section to another section. We can navigate from one section to another section in the same web page. Using anchor element, we can navigate from one page to another page. Using anchor element, we can navigate from one section to other section. Okay, let me show the example. Let's suppose I am opening here some website. I'm just trying to open one website. Okay, here I just opened one website. Okay, now here see there are some links, docs, examples, icons, themes, blog. If I click on this blog, I am able to navigate from this web page to another web page. Now see, I am able to navigate to another web page. So there are two web pages, something called docs and something called blog. From blog, I can go to docs. From docs, I can go back to blog. Now again, if I click on docs, I will come back here. So you have two pages and you are able to navigate from one page to another page. In the same way, now I am in the docs web page. Now here you have some links, CDN links, next step, something like that. Now if I click on this box sizing, there is a link called box sizing. If I click on this link, I will be able to navigate from this section, from top section to this box sizing section in the same web page. Now see, I came back to box sizing page. How you are able to navigate from one section to another section in the same web page? Again, using your anchor tag. How you are able to navigate from one web page to another web page? Again, using anchor tag. Okay, so this anchor tag or anchor element will provide us only one tag, that is a tag. It will provide only one tag, and that is a tag. This is what we are going to call as an anchor tag. Anchor tag will take some set of attributes. Anchor tag will take some set of attributes. Attributes of anchor tag. Attributes of anchor tag or anchor element are href. We have something called target. Okay, href and target. These are the two attributes what we can configure for anchor tag or anchor element. Apart from that, we can configure something like ID also, something called class also. We will learn about this ID and class once we start with CSS. Once we start with CSS, I will explain you about ID and class attributes. So let's learn at least these two attributes related to anchor element, href and target. Okay, it should be something like this. Anchor tag, it will have opening tag, it will have closing tag. With whatever content you want to create link, that content you add here, something like link 1, and add the attributes here, href and target. This is how we are going to use our anchor element, and this is how we are going to configure the attributes. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's create here 3 web pages. Okay, page 1, page 2, and page 3. Now I want to navigate. I want to navigate from this page to this page. I want to navigate from this page to this page to this page. I should be able to navigate from this page to this page to this page. I should be able to navigate from this page to this page to this page. Okay, let's consider this is our HTML document. This is our CSS document. This is our JavaScript document. So let's create 3 documents first. So I will go back here. Here I will create HTML doc.html, CSS.html, JS.doc.html. Okay, let me close all this and let me open this HTML. Now I am just writing my document. Start with the doc type, then HTML, then head, then we have body. Now here I am creating very simple document, just taking one H2. I am saying here HTML document. Okay, adding here some paragraph. Adding here simple paragraph. And generating some random content. Now if you see, some random content is generated. Some random content. I will copy this. I will go and paste here. Here simply I will say JavaScript document. Same thing I will do for CSS also. Here CSS document. I have 3 documents now. It looks something like this. This is HTML document. We have CSS document. We have JavaScript document. Now, in this HTML document, before this H2, or maybe after this H2, here I want to create links. I want to create 2 links. Or maybe I want to create here. Yeah, I want to create 2 links here. How to create 2 links? For that, simply take anchor tag. And here I am adding something like CSS. Adding one attribute called href. Now, if I save my file, if I go back to my browser, now see here one link created, CSS. If I keep my cursor, on that text, I will get that I symbol. This hand symbol I am getting. If I keep my cursor on this, I am getting I symbol. Here also I am getting I symbol. But here I am getting hand symbol. So this hand symbol indicates it is a link. Like this, I want to create one more link. Something called JavaScript. If I save it, if I go back here, now see one more link is created called JavaScript. If you want to add space, between CSS and JavaScript, then here you have to use one special element called raw element. That will be something like this. Add the and NBSP and then semicolon. And symbol, NBSP and your semicolon. Now this will generate the space between these 2 anchor elements. I'm just typing 3 times. Now see some space is generated. Now how this space is generated between these 2 anchor elements using this NBSP, non-breaking space. The full form is non-breaking space. Okay. This we are going to call as a HTML entity. HTML entity. And symbol NBSP semicolon. Okay, it will generate this space. It will generate this space between two elements. Or content. Or content. It can generate this space between the content also. Okay. Now my requirement is if I click on this CSS, if I click on this CSS, I want here CSS document. I want here CSS document. If I click on JavaScript, I want here JavaScript document. So how to tell to the browser if user clicks on this link, we have to navigate to the CSS document. That CSS document address or CSS document path we have to give inside this double quotes. We have to configure CSS document path inside this href attribute. Now here both are in same folder, so directly you can give the name. Here also I'm giving the directly name because they both are present in the same folder. Now save it. Now if I go back here, if I click on CSS, now see I got CSS document. Now in CSS document also I want two links. So what I will do, I will just copy this. I will go to my CSS document. Here also I will add. But this time here I will add HTML. And here my HTML document. Same thing I will add in JavaScript also. But here this time I want HTML. Here I will add HTML document. It means from JavaScript document, I can navigate to CSS, I can navigate to HTML. From CSS document, I can navigate to HTML and JavaScript. And from HTML document, I can navigate to CSS and JavaScript documents. Now, if you go back here, now see here we got HTML and JavaScript. I can click on JavaScript. Again, I can click on CSS. I can click on HTML. Now see, I am able to navigate from one document to another document. Now we have the same content, so we are not able to find that much effectiveness. But here we are just trying to focus on concept. Here we are trying how can we navigate from one document to another document. Is it clear for everyone how to navigate from one document to another document? Okay, here anchor tags are coming in the same line. That's because of anchor element behavior. Okay, that we will learn once we start with CSS. Why div elements will come in the new line, why anchor tag is coming in the same line, why like this, that we will learn in CSS. Okay, there is something called block element and inline element. So you will understand about that once we start with CSS. Okay, so now here we have to just understand about this anchor element. So using anchor element, we are able to navigate from one document to the another document, or from one web page to the another web page. We are able to connect two different documents. So you can say using anchor element, we can connect two different documents, or you can say using anchor element, we can navigate from one document to another document. Okay. Yeah. Now I want to navigate from one section to another section in the same document. In the same document, I want to navigate from one section to another section. For example, here I am creating something called intra doc.html. Okay, before I explain intra documentation, basically intra navigation, do you have any doubts related to anchor element? If yes, just put your doubts on the chat. Okay, let me explain you one more thing here. Process of navigating from one page to another page is called internavigation. It is called internavigation. Process of navigating from one section to another section in the same page, is called intranavigation. There are two types of navigation in HTML: intranavigation and your internavigation. So what is internavigation? If you are navigating from one page to another page, that process we are going to call as a internavigation. If you are navigating from one section to another section in same page, it is called intranavigation. It is called intranavigation. So till now, whatever we have seen, it was internavigation. We were navigating from one page to another page, one page to another page. Now I want to implement intranavigation. Means I want to navigate from one section to another section in same page. In the same page. Okay, I will explain about the target attribute also. Okay. Now in your HTML, suppose this is your document. In your HTML document, if you want to create some sections like this, section 1, and in that you want to add some elements. You want to create one more section. You want to create one more section. Like this, if you want to create sections in your HTML document, then we will take the help of division element. We will take the help of something called division element. Division element is used to create logical sections inside your HTML document. It is used to create logical sections inside the HTML document. If you want to create some logical sections in your HTML document, then you can take the help of division element. Now this division element will provide us only one tag, that is div tag, something called div tag. Suppose in your HTML document you want to create 3 sections, then you can take 3 div tags. If you are taking 5 div tags, it means you are creating 5 sections. So if I go back here, if I just create this document here, something like this. Okay, I just got some structure. Now inside my body, I want to create, let's suppose I want to create 3 sections. Then what I will do, I will take 3 div element. Div element 1, div element 2, div element 3, div element 4. I have taken 4 div element. It means I have created 4 these 4 sections. I have created 4 sections. In every section, you can add your own elements. Whatever elements you want to add, you can add. So I'm adding here one H2 and I'm saying HTML. After that, I am simply adding one image, some src. Here I will add some width, some height. Let's suppose I'm adding height as 300, width as 500. After that, one paragraph, something like lorem 100. Okay, just generated some random content. Like this, I want some content in all the sections. Here also I want. Here I will add CSS. Okay, in the same way, I want here also. Here I will add something like JavaScript. In the same way, I will add here also. I want something like here React.js. Now I want the images. So I will just go back to my Google and just search for the images. Here HTML images. Okay, simply I will grab some image here. Just take some image. Right click, copy image link, go back here and paste on the top. In the same way, I want CSS image. Search for CSS image. So I will just grab some image here. Right click, copy image link, paste here. Go back here, search for JavaScript. Let's take some image related to JavaScript. And paste here. And maybe one more image for React. Right click, copy image link and paste here. Okay. Now if I save it and if I open this document in my browser, it looks something like this. HTML image, some paragraph related to HTML. CSS image, some paragraph. JavaScript image, some paragraph. React image, some paragraph. Now this is the document I have created. Okay. Now for identification of every div, for just the identification of every div, what I will do, for every div, I will add one attribute called ID. ID attribute is like roll number for us. In our college days or in our school days, we used to have the roll number, right? We used to have some roll numbers. Why we used to have the roll numbers? Though we have some name, though you guys have some name, why your college people or school people are giving you roll numbers or ID numbers? To identify uniquely, right? Because there are a lot of possibility that in the same class, there can be two persons with the same name, even with the same name, same surname also. Okay, so to give everybody as a unique identification, they will provide us some IDs. So in this same way, in HTML document also, there are lot of div element. This is one 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 div element. Now, how can I identify all this div element uniquely? For that, what we can do, we can add one ID attribute and we can assign some unique value here. So here I will say HTML. For this div, I am giving the ID value as a HTML. So I can recognize this first div using this ID value as a HTML. In the same way, for next div also, I can give the ID. Now the second div ID value should be unique. You should not repeat. You should not repeat. It should be unique. Like I am giving CSS. I have one more. For this, I am giving ID as a JavaScript. And I have one more. I have a ID as a React. Okay. Now what I want to do, I want to create 4 links here. I want to create 4 links. So here I'm just creating 4 links. Something called HTML. I want something like CSS, JavaScript, and React. CSS, here JavaScript, and here React. If I go back, I will get here 4 links. Now my requirement is if I click on this React, my control should goes to here React. My control should go to React. If I click on JavaScript, my control should go, I should scroll to the JavaScript. If I click on CSS, I should scroll to CSS. So I want to do intra navigation. I want to move or I want to navigate from one section to another section. So all these anchor tags, I can keep in one more div. I can group all these anchor tags in one div. If you want one after another, you can add here something called BR tag. BR tag will give one line break. It will give one line break. It means after this anchor tag, next anchor tag will come in the next line. So if you go back here, now see, your after HTML, CSS got in the next line. I can add one more BR tag so that I will get one more break line. Like this, I can add this BR tag after each anchor tag. Now I will get this kind of design. Okay. Now my requirement is if I click on React, I should navigate to React. How to tell that if you click on this React link, we should navigate to React section. For that, in this href attribute, we have to mention the ID value. Here we have to mention the ID value. How to mention what is the ID value? Here ID value is React, right? So here simply we have to write React. And we have to start with the hash value. If you're starting with the hash, it means on click of this particular link, you have to navigate to different section in the same page. If you are adding hash, it indicates that we are doing intra navigation. If you don't add hash, it means you are doing inter navigation. So if you want to implement intra navigation, then we have to add here hash. Hash, after that ID value. So this entire thing represents the ID value of that particular section. So same thing here also, hash JS. Here also hash CSS. Here hash HTML. Now you are saying that on click of this HTML, navigate to the HTML section. On click of React, navigate to React section. So if I just go on the top, if I click on React, see, I navigated to React section. If I click on CSS, I navigated to CSS section. If I click on JavaScript, I navigated to the JavaScript section. If I click on HTML, I'm back to HTML section. Why indicates this? Hash indicates we are adding the ID value. Hash indicates ID value. So it is not the path of any other web page. It is the ID value of another section. Hash indicates this is the ID value. So your browser will understand. Now we should not do inter navigation. We have to implement intra navigation. Intra navigation means navigating from one section to another section. If you don't add hash, then your browser will understand it's the path of some another web page. If you add hash, then it will understand that, okay, this is not the path of another page. This is the ID of another section in the same web page. This is how your browser is going to understand. Okay. Now see, inside your href, attribute only, you will mention the path of another web page. Inside the href only, we will mention the ID value of another section. ID value of some section. Now, how your browser will come to know whether you have mentioned the path of another web page, or did you mention the ID value of some section in the same web page? How your browser will come to know? So for that, we have to tell to the browser, right? Now, browser doesn't have any brain to understand it. We have to give some instruction to browser. So for that, we are adding here one special value called hash. Now, hash indicates it's not the path of any another web page. It's the ID value of some section in the same web page. Okay. I hope you understood why we have to add hash. Now, this is your intra navigation. This is your inter navigation. Okay, we are moving from CSS document to JavaScript document. From JavaScript, we can navigate to HTML. This is in the same page. In the same page, we are navigating from one section to another section. This is inter navigation. This is intra navigation. Now, in tomorrow's session, we will explore about the target attribute. In tomorrow's session, I will explain you about the target attribute. What is target attribute? Okay. In tomorrow's session, we will explore target attribute and we will design that Amazon section. Amazon section. Once we have done with this, then I will start with basics of CSS. Basics of CSS. Yeah. So that's all, guys, for today's session. So let's meet tomorrow and let's explore the remaining set of things. In tomorrow's session, I will design this part. So before I design, you guys try and you just check whether you will be able to design this part or not. If you are able to design this part, then you try this part. Yeah, that's all, guys. If you don't have any doubts, yeah, you guys can drop. If someone has doubts, feel free to put on the chat.